Let's go! Joe Milton can't keep up with Carson Beck, and today we're going to take a look at the film study as to why this happened. And look, Georgia and Tennessee fans, you've been showing a lot of love to me, so I'm going to need your expertise to tell me why you think this game was such a blowout. And it's amazing considering Jalen Wright, this is one of the best runs of the season. Yes, you had some good luck that this backer blitzed through this hole, so that obviously helped with the ability to actually house this, and this hole is wide open, but the speed to totally dust Bullard right here, who is an amazing athlete, is nothing short of incredible. Now, I have been hoping RA Analytics, a Twitter account that actually calculates miles per hour, this has to be, just by looking at the eye test, I know it's in slow motion, this has to be one of the fastest clocked times this year in college football. So I wish there was a tight end right here because I could make a really nice Dolly Parton joke from here to here. Now, if you got that joke, comment down below if you got it, okay? It's a Dolly Parton song. I thought it was cool. Peyton Manning. Peyton is one of my all-time favorite athletes, and I'm not even a Tennessee fan. So, yeah, you get this linebacker here, and we saw this, if you're one of my LSU folks, in the LSU film study, you never want this, right? You never want both the A-gaps here to be this wide open, and that's exactly what you have. This A-gap gets displaced. Stackhouse gets pushed into this B-gap, which I think here is his responsibility. You never want two guys in the same gap right here. You never want your defenders to be vertical like this, and look at this. Both A-gaps wide open. The jet sweep right there, and I'd say the jet sweep. It was just a motion right there from the tight end. And now it's a house call. All right, the truth here is if Jaden Daniels wasn't doing what he was doing, Carson Beck would be by far the best quarterback in the SEC this year. I mean, the first thing, it does help that he has the best offensive line in the SEC East. And look at this. I mean, you can't beat this right here, man. Nobody is beating anyone. You can't really do anything coverage-wise. You see, this DB has outside leverage right here, and when you're guarding one of these like deep over routes, it is just impossible to really guard against this, right? And, you know, this wasn't even the absolute best bit of route running, but Ra Thomas does a good job getting across the field, and run a pretty good route, if you ask me. It's a huge gain. All right, so we get to this 3rd and 7. You've got to blitz. You've got to blitz, okay? And there's a lot of reasons why you should blitz, because a sack here is a very valuable play because they punt on a sack. If they don't get sacked, they're probably going for it or kicking a very long field goal. And you get some very good rush right here from the right side. That's an excellent pass rush rip move right there. And it's just too late because Brock Bowers is an absolute beast. The blitz gets picked up really nice, and Bowers just runs an in-breaker. He's a big target. That's a really good throw right there, and they pick up the first down, okay? It helps having those kinds of guys you can just throw the football to and he makes a play. 3rd and 18, and once again, it's Brock Bowers. This is a huge play right here, okay? And look, you got a guy on him. Pass protection's really good across the way. What a route by Bowers. I mean, just really good stuff. This DB is to the inside of him, so it does give him, you know, this outside release. But look at when Beck is throwing this football. He sees the leverage, and he's already throwing this football before Bowers is even out of this little head fake right here. Look at that. That is excellent anticipation. Had to miss that pass rusher's arm, and he leads him so he can have some yards after the catch right there, and Bowers falls forward to make it an easy field goal. All right, so it's 3rd and 3 right here, and I don't know how much I love this play call right here, but for this to work, it needs to be on Squirrel White's upfield shoulder. It's behind him right here, and now, you know, this is where you need him to make a play, okay? Bullard, who got burned on that first touchdown, he's able to miss this block easily, so a missed block right there really hurts Squirrel White, but you still would like to see him at least make him miss, And that's just a huge missed block right there by the tight end, and you got a punt. All right, start in 5, and this is once again more Carson Beck than Brock Bowers to convert this. I want you to see when the ball is actually thrown, okay? Now, before we do that, you do get a little bit of an exotic call. They're letting Bowers go, and they're dropping out a few guys up front. You would like this jam right here to be more physical, okay? You see, that really didn't knock him off, all right? So Carson Beck, it looks like he was looking at here at first. Look at when he's deciding to throw this. Look at this anticipation. That is incredible. And look at that ball was a liner right there. That's just elite quarterback play. All right, and then we get to the trick play right here. Obviously, when you see a wide receiver in at running back, you've got to be ready for this, and the safety just wasn't. That's on the safety right there. And, it was 17 who got beat by Bowers a little bit earlier. And going back to the Missouri game, the defensive back play for Tennessee has been really, really, really bad lately. All right, get to this 3rd and 3. This is some excellent stuff right here by Josh Heupel, okay? This shows you that it's man coverage, especially with the single high safety right here. So Joe Milton looks right and then works all the way back left to the matchup that he likes. Squirrel White is running something called a whip or a pivot route where you fake like you're running to the inside and then whip back to the out. And that is a really good design. So if this is completed right here, 24 is going to have to make a tackle or else this is a big gainer. It's just at the line of scrimmage while the pass protection was really good. They get a batted down pass right here, okay? God, the Georgias and the Alabamas, they are so good at that. All right, so Tennessee, you get a game-breaking interception, but the Zebras decide to get involved. I've looked at this play a few times here. I could see it being called. The guy who forced this interception is number 21 right here. Their big run-stuffing defensive tackle. Georgia pulls this left guard right here. I'm surprised this tackle doesn't block down to help. This is a difficult block for Cedric Van Pran to make, and he's not able to make it. Okay, so 21, who's not really one of your better pass rushers, is able to get Carson Beck off his spot here. Okay, so he steps up into the pocket, and that pass rush prevented this deep dig from being completed. So Beck sees that Bowers is open now. He breaks off his route, and he overshoots him. And this is a huge, huge, huge overturn. This ball gets intercepted and returned to Georgia's 20-ish yard line. 3rd and 3 here, and, last week he talked about Tennessee not having Darnell Wright anymore and how much that hurt them versus Missouri. And then you'll see right here not having Brew McCoy and just the receivers you had last year is just so key. Okay, you get a really good pocket right here, and Joe Milton throws to the open man, okay? And the ball is a little high, all right? That's got to be caught. I understand he throws a very hard ball, and this ball is coming at a gazillion miles per hour. Squirrel White has got to make that catch. If he has, and Mike Bobo, he deserves some Broyles Award love, right? Which goes to the nation's best assistant coach. What a play design. Look at this. Bell, who is probably going into this game, I would say Tennessee's number 4 receiver at best, if you include Brock Bowers. He tore you up, right? He already has a touchdown pass, roll out to the right, screen to the left. Now look at all these Tennessee defenders, and look at who is left over here. Now, 71 has to get all the way out here and make a very difficult block, and he does just that, okay? 2 decides to cut to the inside, and Bell reads it, and he decides to go to the outside. That is just perfect play design. Georgia has the best athletes, but they are the king of the misdirection. There she is. Look at that. Shout out to the Imagination Library, okay? We get some counter GY action here, and once again, it's simple. When you play Georgia and Alabama, they do scheme things up. But your guys just have got to step up and make plays. I mean, this is defended really well. This counter GY out of 12 personnel. You box this in, all right? So he can't bounce here, or else this defender with his outside shoulder free can just make this play. So you're forcing this to the inside, and you have them outnumbered. Bowers just got to block one of these guys. He chooses him, and you just need this player to make a very simple tackle, and, well, to quote Coach 30, he pisses down his leg, can't make the play. Okay, that's 6. You just got to make that play, and then you miss a tackle here. It's when you play Georgia, you just got to make these minor plays, right? All right, so you get a 3rd and 6 right here. This time you don't elect to blitz. I am just so pro blitz in this area of the field, and Carson Beck knows he has 2 downs to pick this up. He hits his check down, and guess what? They'll get all the yards here. Okay, that's just good, simple offense. All right, so Georgia eventually scores a touchdown here, and if you don't know anything about football, I will teach you the most common play used throughout college football, okay? It's called mesh, okay? It's 2 shallow drags, and most teams now like to run something called mesh rail, okay? Mesh is the 2 shallow drags. The rail is the running back, and normally the other 2 players are running. They can run anything, actually. Most teams like to run a little hook route behind the mesh, all right? So you're looking at a drawing of it right now, and let's show you what Carson Beck likes to do. The first read normally on mesh rail is the rail because it's hard to guard that and account for the running back. So that's not there. So now Carson Beck is going to throw to either one of these shallow drags. Okay, if it's man coverage, this play is money. It's man coverage right here. And then Beck is looking. He sees that Brock Bowers is covered, but Bell is not. One is guarding Bell. That is a long way for him to run. The ball is actually a little low. It's a really good catch by Bell. And Tennessee DBs, this is a tough tackle to make. They haven't made them know in these last couple of weeks, and Bell scores. So I want to spend some time right here. You see the difference. Georgia has guys getting open on 3rd. Tennessee doesn't, right? And you're dropping passes. We saw that Squirrel White big play. And Josh Heupel says, F it. My receivers aren't doing a good job getting open. Let me go to Dylan Sampson, right? He's been a really good player for Tennessee. So they are running verticals right here. Verticals all across the way. Now, Joe Milton's job is to let these verticals clear out, okay, and look at what you get. One-on-one. This is the most one-on-one matchup you could possibly ask for. With all the space in the world to work with, all the best pass protection you could ask for. Okay, so Sampson here has an opportunity to bust off a huge play. And the design of this play is to go to Sampson, okay? So he's going up against a true freshman linebacker here in Allen, okay? So top 100 4-star versus a lower tier 3-star. Okay, Sampson is has a year under his belt. So I would like this matchup if I'm Tennessee. If I'm going into the game with Josh Heupel and I say, hey, I get one of my best players going one-on-one versus this player, the route just sucked, okay? It really did. I would have been a little bit more patient with my route and sold vertical or a head fake this way, and he just kind of bends it off here, and you can see Milton's kind of shocked that Allen is just all over it. He double pumps, doesn't throw it. This guy's in the passing lane right here, so he has to throw it over him, and Allen is just all over him. Now, we could have a discussion about this left arm getting here early, and it is there early, but going into the game, I would have thought Sampson would leave any linebacker in the dust right there. All right, so it's 2nd and 11. This is the difference between the two quarterbacks, right? I didn't see Joe Milton making a lot of these kinds of plays. Yeah, a lot of what you've seen up to this point has been mostly his guys failing him. But remember a minute ago we showed you mesh, all right? You're running it a little bit different. This time, instead of a rail, it's just a little route into the flat. You get 2 shallow drags, and this really wasn't open. The hook right here from Bell, look at when Carson Beck is deciding to throw this. Look at all this traffic. I don't know what he's seeing. In fact, Bell is stopped right here. And look at how Carson Beck just throws this guy open into this space. That's sorcery. It is unfair for Georgia to have a quarterback this good. That was ridiculous. And I know this throw got a lot of pub on this 3rd and 12. All right. But that last throw was better than this one. And this one is almost as good as the last one. I mean, this gives me chills seeing this kinds of stuff. I love witnessing greatness, and it's a tightly spiraled ball to the back shoulder. I mean, God bless America. What the heck is that? Absolutely surreal stuff right there. Here we go. Quick pitch to the left, and this is, God bless, blocked to perfection. And, yeah, you know, when it's a quick pitch like this, you don't want to get sealed to the inside. Bowers is sealing him to the inside. 71 seals this player to the inside. And Tennessee's DBs have been really bad tacklers. He just falls on his own on the cutback. Zero, who had the pick, can't make the play. And Milton is falling forward for all that extra yardage. We go to this 2nd and 10, and I know it gets cut off a little bit here, but this is still Carson Beck just doing stupid good quarterback things. I mean, it's unreal what this guy is doing. This time you get a little bit of pressure, not a whole lot to affect him, throwing it, leading his receiver right in stride to the point where I thought he was scoring right there. Good job by Rosemy Jacksank to fall forward. And this is a play they scored versus LSU last year in the SEC championship game, and this is also the LSU game winner versus Alabama. Obviously a little bit different than that, but, you know, you get Brock Bowers on the rollout, and he scores. So we get to a Tennessee 2-minute drill, and this was an absolute dart thrown by Joe Milton. Could 84 have caught this? Once again, the play is kind of cut off. You let me know, right? Obviously, if you're Joe Milton, it was a long throw. This could have been more accurately thrown, right? If he's hitting him in stride, kind of like the Squirrel White touchdown versus Alabama to start. You know, it's a tough catch to make, kind of in his blind spot right there, but those are the kind of plays you need to hit in order to beat Georgia. This is absolutely astonishing stuff right here from Joe Milton with 14 seconds left to go. I mean, you got to hit something to get into field goal range. I mean, it's a 17-point game. You would like to make it a 2-possession game. Interior rush right here. Quarterback spot coming down your throat. Pause. And look at this ball by Milton. Bang! Right into heavy coverage. Good catch right there. Boom! I'm looking at you, okay? Now, if you guys want to support these independent film studies, shout out Beyonce, hit up the Feed My Dog Fund. That is my Venmo Cash App. And I want to shout out Vol Nation and volnugs.com. You guys have been sharing my stuff on your message boards. I'm sure everybody is being totally rational over there right now with Tennessee getting absolutely scallywacked. Is that even a word? Scallywacked for 2 consecutive weeks, okay? This is a major issue with Tennessee's program right now, okay? And honestly, Georgia's the best program in college football. Nobody is close to them. Nobody right now. The truth here is it's lacking some physicality, right? This kickoff return is a really good example. So everyone's fresh. You get a low, short kickoff return. There's not a whole lot of, run up here. And guess what? Bell, who's not the biggest, not the fastest guy in the world, you got guys tripping over each other, so he's tripped, right? 17 right here has a chance to lay an absolute massive shot right here. And guess what? Sticks his head down, poor form, and he just gets mollywopped right here. That's just poor, right? And it took the kicker to come in and make this play. I understand that is just 2 yards right there. But you saw it in the Missouri game, Tennessee fans. You guys are able to watch every second of every game. I don't. But if I could see it, I know you guys could see it. this program is lacking something, right? It's a little too finesse, not enough bite, if you ask me. And that's a big part of what you guys are. You're supposed to be a physical program, right? I'll tell you this, man. During the Fulmer prime years, that stuff would not be acceptable. And for 2 consecutive weeks, you guys have just been playing patty cake. You get a rush 3, drop 8 here. I like that, mixing things up. That helps defend the mesh, or does it? Beck is able to find an open Oscar Delp, and guess what? You get a break. You get a huge drop. And guess what? Tennessee, you have a chance to get right back into this game. To be fair, the ball was low, but, if a guy's thrown across his body to a wide-open guy on the other side of the field, got to make that play. So it's 3rd and 11. I want you to see how conservative Georgia is right here. Very interesting decision. And look, Joe Milton's not a runner, and he's also not really a scrambler, facilitator kind of guy, right? But he sits in his pocket and just misses this. Right? This kind of feels like when Hendon Hooker missed that deep slot fade to Jalen Hyatt. You get your best receiver, Squirrel White. It's got a step on 24, and you just miss it, right? The plays were there for Tennessee to make. 1st and 10, okay? This is just excellent play calling, right? Now you got 11 to worry about. The fastest guy, the guy who had the big catch last year in the playoff versus Ohio State for a wide-open touchdown. Get him on the end around, and this is just excellent play calling. Now you just got to mitigate the damage here, and you get a good block down the field right here by Oscar Delp, and 44 actually ends up making a really, really good tackle right here in the open field, and you eventually do bring him down. When you throw with anticipation, it's always just better, right? You're always leading your receivers better if you throw with anticipation, but Zero just had it all day going against him. 0 and 1, right? You wear that single-digit number, you got to be a dude. And 86, Bell just tore y'all up all game. All right, so the same exact thing happens in the red zone at almost the same exact portion of the field, right? Tennessee gets a good run stop on 1st down. Then on 2nd down, Georgia runs mesh for a touchdown. It's the same thing. Georgia's running mesh again. Okay, 2 shallow drags. Little delay on the route right here from Rosemy-Jacksaint. That allows Bowers to get a little chip right here. And if you're running man versus this, Tennessee runs a lot of man. They're just going to keep running this on you. One way to defend this is to have communication where someone else picks up the drag off the mesh, but to ask this DB to run all the way across the field, especially after a little chip, is a lot. Now, 27 makes a good interior rush right here, but Beck sidesteps it, keeps 2 hands on the football, and you'll see right here, 6 Lovett isn't even running out his route. His main job right here is to just get in the way of Zero. He does just that. And that initial chip just gave so much separation. And it's just simple pitch and catch for a touchdown. Tennessee just could not adjust to the mesh. I do find it funny he's shushing the crowd with 2 of the most wide-open touchdowns you'll ever see. But go off, King. You're up 31-10 on the road. Go for it. All right, so we get to this 3rd and 15, and, God, this is just really, really, really good stuff by Glenn Schumann, okay? And bad quarterbacking right here. Or this could potentially be on the coaching staff, Heupel. You have to let your quarterback know, even though you are back deep in your own territory, this is a 2-down situation, okay? It's 3rd and 15. You are down by 21, okay? You've got to go for it on 4th down. You do. So if the defense knows that you're trying to get all the yards here, they can just send anyone. It's going to be a sack every time. So if you're Joe Milton, the coaching staff and you have got to know that you've got to look at this as a 2-down situation, okay? This is a huge gainer. Now, we can't see the safety. We can't. So I don't know if Nimrod right here would have been sacked immediately, but I'm taking these yards right here and making it a manageable 4th. Maybe he breaks a tackle and gets all the yards. Just don't take a sack right here, because if you're taking a sack, you're just dead to rights. Georgia ran a little stunt, and now you have to punt. Now you have no choice, and Milton is just not that very elusive. So easy sack. Now we get to 3rd and 3, and Carson Beck. I mean, this is just really good stuff. Okay. Versus Jaden Daniels, Georgia State actually tried to do a bunch of rush 3, drop 8 kinds of stuff. The weird thing about rush 3, drop 8 is if you get out your pass rush lane, it opens up even wider gaps for quarterbacks to run through, and that's exactly what Beck does, okay? And he falls down, and it's a first, okay? Now, in this spot right here, I understand you don't want targeting or anything like that. But if it's 3rd and 3, you have got to get downhill right here and lay some kind of lumber. There's no need to be playing on your heels on 3rd and 3. And, well, it's a little too late to be hitting them. All right, we then get to here, and you then get Muse, right? This is one of the deepest wide receiver rooms I've ever seen. Okay, so this is probably Georgia's most elusive player. Once again, they don't have McConkey. McConkey was kind of kept out of this game because of back stiffness. So that is their best receiver. So they're 7, 8 deep if you include Delp and Bowers. And man, it's unreal. It really is unreal. Alrighty, so Tennessee's got a lot of single-digit players, but they don't make single-digit plays, right? This is, I believe, Turnage, the transfer from Alabama. And he's got an extra year of eligibility after this, right? So this is a year 5 player. I mean, y'all are down 21. On this RPO read, this is just a lot of cushion down 21, right? You're just giving this away. This is an easy read by Carson Beck. He sees that this guy creeps down into the box. Bell has been his go-to guy today. This is so much space for him to run into. That is a lot, right? Now, I will give Turnage some credit here. Makes a good tackle after losing his balance right there. But, man, these Tennessee DBs have been getting absolutely torched. All right, so, you're running the football at will now. So you're throwing the football at will. Now you get to run underneath it. Essentially, 71 just kicks this guy out the club right here. 71 had a really good game. Obviously, Van Pran Granger on this double right here. I'll give you the end zone angle. We'll go from there. Is that holding? Hand is on the back. So that is a little bit of a hug, if you ask me. So I could see that being called. Either way, you get this run. It's just, simple run play to the inside. 53 works to the second level. And 71, of course, they want to run right through here. And Van Pran seals this guy to the inside. Let's take a look at this double to begin with. This is good physical play from 56. Watch this. Bang. Okay. Now you got to get to the second level, and you got to get him sealed to the inside. You still can't get in this spot right here. It's a little too easy if you ask me. This hole is wide open to run through. This is a good job peeling off this block by 6. Is this a hold right here? You tell me. Let's see. A little cut off. I normally seen that let go. Nevertheless, kind of like what I said earlier, Tennessee just wasn't physical enough. This is just too easy, right? He's essentially, just running in, right? You're tackling him finally in the checkerboard. It's too late. All right, so we move ahead to this 3rd and 3. I don't know how many more plays I'm going to break down here, but let's just keep it going for now. They're running the same thing earlier. You finally do get some separation here on this running back route, but they're playing so far off of Squirrel White, up by 28. That makes sense, right? Now, that is a little too easy if you ask me, but if you're up by 28, you don't want to give up anything over the top. All right, so we get to this 3rd and 9 at the beginning of the 4th quarter. They're late getting over to this main assignment, and Joe Milton, this is an amazing throw with the guy right in his face to the back shoulder. It's a really good, not quite to the back shoulder. Tight end just makes a really good play, and that is good enough for a first. All right, so we get to this 3rd and 8, and you got a motion defender coming in, and this is a very exotic call. So they're blitzing 2 edge guys, and 2 backers are dropping back into coverage. Man, if Squirrel White, that wasn't the route assignment. If he's cutting over the middle, he's picking up an easy first down, but obviously this is where the play was supposed to go. If Joe would have just stuck with this tight end little out, so he looks left and then works all the way back here, I guess that's just part of the progression. But that would have been there for a first. He tries to roll out here. There's just abso-freaking-lutely nothing. So it's not good. Not good at all. He just has to throw it away to live to fight another down. And we then get to Heupel's worst decision of this game, which is kicking a long field goal down 28. When you're down 28, you can only really get touchdowns in the fourth quarter, right? Because a touchdown or a field goal still keeps it a 4-possession game. I think Tennessee fans, you've heard that plenty of times over. Really, really, really dumb decision by Heupel. I don't think Josh just coached a bad game. I think defensively you could have done more to stop Georgia, but some of these Carson Beck throws were just so good it didn't matter. But honestly, going into the game, I did not think mesh would be the play that Georgia would just tear Tennessee apart with, just play after play after play. So give Georgia a lot of credit. They outplayed them and outcoached them. But one thing you see a lot on these 3rd downs, right? Heupel called plays that gave his guys advantageous opportunities to go out there and make them. They just didn't make them on defense or on offense, right? You had that huge drop. You had Sampson one-on-one versus a linebacker, can't get separation. Carson Beck deserves to be in New York City for the Heisman Trophy. Now, he doesn't deserve it over my guy, but he at least deserves that. Like, how much better is Bo Nix and Michael Penix than Carson Beck at this point? I don't know. I really don't. Beck started obviously a little bit slower, but then again, it's his first year as a full-time starter, right? Carson Beck is just really freaking good. There are some throws that are just so unreal. And with him playing like this, there shouldn't be anything that could stop Georgia from winning it all, especially with the Jordan Travis domino falling with Florida State, a team that I like a lot. We get to Joe Milton here. It's always been my case here with Joe Milton. First off, this defensive play design is just amazing, okay? They bracket the outside guy and force Nimrod and this tight end to get open, okay? So Milton's looking to the left side. They do get away with the hold. I mean, something has got to be thrown right there. But, just to bring this up, okay, Joe Milton is not a runner, right? Hendon Hooker right here is running this in or finding a way to run this in. That's the biggest difference, right? Milton is just a very average runner and playmaker. This is still catchable. But that ball was coming in pretty hot. There's not a whole lot of touch to his game, but I do think a flag should have been thrown there. I really do. But the truth remains the same with this Tennessee game and team and Joe Milton. They're just average this year. This is just a very average team. Last year, Tennessee was extraordinary. They were one of the best teams in college football. But I do give Georgia so much credit for 2 consecutive seasons, right? Tennessee couldn't even muster 28 combined points versus the Bulldogs. Josh Heupel's offense has been bulletproof almost up to this point, right? And Georgia has shut it down 2 years in a row. Very impressive stuff. But Joe Milton's still a very average quarterback. Not the reason why they lost. But now, Nico can play, right? His red shirt has been preserved, right? He could play in this next game and in the bowl game. I'd love to see it. I really would. Hopefully he takes your offense to the next level, and I think he will. So I'm looking forward to that. Let me know what you guys think down below, okay? It is Power Hour SEC Boom. Now, please go support the Feed My Dog Fund. And floating in your face are some Tennessee and Georgia videos. And tonight, we are doing lemon pepper chicken wings. Let's go.